The warning lights flashed red across the bridge of the human warship Iron Mountain. Captain Do-hyun Kim sat in his command chair, watching the star charts on the main screen. His ship was big and strong, made of dark metal that could survive in the most dangerous places in space. The Iron Mountain was a dreadnought, one of humanity's most powerful warships. Do-hyun had black hair and tired eyes. He had been patrolling this empty part of space for 3 months. His crew was getting restless. They wanted to go home to Earth, but their orders were clear. Stay on the edge of human space and watch for trouble. "Captain," said Hyejin Park from her station. She was the communications officer, a young woman with quick fingers and sharp ears. "I'm getting something strange on the emergency channels." Do-hyun turned to look at her. "What kind of strange?" Hyejin frowned at her screens. "It's not human. The signal is weak, but it's definitely alien. And Captain, it sounds like they're in trouble." The bridge went quiet. Finding aliens was always big news. Finding aliens in trouble could mean many things. Do-hyun stood up from his chair and walked over to Hyejin's station. "Can you clean up the signal?" he asked. "I'm trying, sir." Hyejin's fingers moved fast over her controls. Static filled the bridge speakers, then slowly cleared. Strange voices came through, speaking in languages no human had ever heard. "The computer is trying to translate," Hyejin said, "but it's having trouble. These are languages we've never seen before." Do-hyun waited. The Iron Mountain's computers were very good, but alien languages took time to figure out. Slowly, words started to make sense. "Help us," came a voice through the static. "Our ships are dying, children are sick, the hunters are coming." Another voice joined in, higher pitched and musical. "Please, anyone who hears this, we have thousands of people. Our engines are failing, we need safe place." A third voice spoke, this one sounding like water bubbling. "The Dominion ships are close. They want to catch us. They want to hurt us. Please help." Do-hyun felt his chest tighten. These aliens were running from something. They had families, children, and something called the Dominion was chasing them. "Sir," said Taemin Lee from the navigation station. He was Do-hyun's first officer, a careful man who always followed the rules. "We should report this to command. Let them decide what to do." Do-hyun nodded slowly, but he was thinking. Command was far away. These aliens needed help now. "Where are they, Taemin?" "The signal is coming from the Kepler system, sir, about 6 hours away at full speed." "And how long would it take to get orders from command?" Taemin looked uncomfortable. "At least 2 days, sir." Do-hyun walked back to his command chair. He thought about his grandmother, who had told him stories about the old wars on Earth. She had been a refugee once, running from bombs and soldiers. Kind people had helped her find safety. If they hadn't, Do-hyun would never have been born. "Set course for the Kepler system," Do-hyun ordered. "Full speed." "Sir," Taemin said carefully, "the rules say we should not get involved with alien problems without orders." Do-hyun looked at his first officer. "The rules also say we should help people in danger. These aliens have families, they have children. Something is hunting them." "But sir, we don't know what the Dominion is. We don't know why they're chasing these aliens. What if we get in trouble we can't handle?" Do-hyun sat down in his chair. "Then we'll deal with it. Helm, take us to Kepler system, best possible speed." The Iron Mountain turned and jumped to faster-than-light speed. The stars became lines of light as the ship raced through space. 6 hours later, they arrived at the Kepler system. What they found made the crew gasp. Dozens of alien ships floated in space, and they were in terrible condition. Some were leaking air. Others had lost power completely. The ships looked like they had been built by 3 different species. Some ships were long and thin, covered in what looked like feathers made of metal. These ships were beautiful, but damaged, with holes in their sides. Other ships looked like they were made of crystal, glowing with soft light, but many of the crystals were cracked and dark. The third type of ship was round and smooth like giant bubbles. But several of these bubble ships were collapsing, their smooth surfaces wrinkled and torn. "My God," whispered Hyejin. "How many people are in those ships?" Scanning now, said So Young Choi from the medical station. She was the ship's doctor, a woman who cared deeply about helping others. Captain, I'm reading over 50,000 life signs across all the ships, but many of them are weak, they're dying. Do-hyun felt sick. 50,000 aliens, including children, floating in broken ships in the middle of nowhere. Captain, said Taemin urgently, I'm detecting other ships approaching fast. They're not alien refugee ships, these are military vessels. The Dominion? Do-hyun asked. Must be, sir. They'll be here in less than an hour. Do-hyun made his decision quickly. Send a message to the refugee ships. Tell them we're here to help. Tell them to prepare for emergency rescue. Sir, Taemin said, we can't take 50,000 aliens aboard our ship. We're not going to abandon them, Do-hyun said firmly. Contact the other human ships in this sector. Call for every transport ship, every medical ship, every ship that can help. That could start a war with this Dominion, Taemin warned Do. Hyun looked at the broken alien ships on his screen. He thought about children dying in those metal boxes floating in the cold of space. He thought about his grandmother's stories. Then we'll fight, he said simply. The first alien ship to respond was one of the crystal ships. The voice that came through was beautiful, like music made of light. Human ship, this is harmony between stones of the crystal people. We are the Threnody. We did not know humans existed. Why do you offer help? Do-hyun picked up the communicator. This is Captain Do-hyun Kim of the human ship Iron Mountain. We help because you need help, that's what good people do. There was a long pause. Then another voice came through, this one from a feather ship. It sounded like wind through trees. Human. Captain, I am swift through void of the bird people. We are called Velnari. The crystal people speak truth. We have never met humans, but you offer aid when we have nothing to give in return. A third voice joined them, from one of the bubble ships. This voice sounded like flowing water. Captain Kim, I am current rider of the water people. We are Keth Mori. Our three peoples have been friends for many years. Together we are called the Ethereal Coalition. The Dominion wants to capture us. They want to use our bodies for terrible things. Do-hyun felt anger rise in his chest. They want to hurt you? Yes, said Swift through void sadly. The Dominion takes our people and uses them like tools. They use Velnari minds to guide their weapons. They use Threnody crystals to power their machines. They use Kethmori bodies to make medicine for their soldiers. That's slavery, Do-hyun said, his voice hard. We do not know this word, said Harmony Between Stones. It means making people work against their will, making them suffer for someone else's benefit. Humans fought wars to stop slavery on our world. The three alien voices were quiet for a moment. Then current rider spoke. Captain Kim, you said you would fight for us, but you do not know us. We might be your enemies tomorrow. Why would you risk your life for strangers? Do-hyun looked around his bridge at his crew. They were all watching him, waiting for his answer. Because, he said slowly, when someone asks for help, good people help. When someone is running from people who want to hurt them, good people offer protection. That's what makes us human. The screen, the Dominion ships were getting closer. Do-hyun could see they were big and covered with weapons. But the Iron Mountain was bigger, and human ships were built to fight in the most dangerous places in space. All alien ships, Do-hyun announced, prepare for emergency rescue, we're getting you out of here. The rescue began. 3 weeks had passed since the rescue. The Iron Mountain now carried refugees from all three alien species. The ship was crowded, but Do-hyun's crew worked hard to make their guests comfortable. The aliens had been amazed by many things about the human ship. They could not believe humans lived and worked in such dangerous conditions. The radiation levels inside human ships would kill most alien species within hours. The artificial gravity was so strong it would crush their bones. The air pressure was like being deep underwater for the bird-like Nari. But somehow, the aliens were not dying. In fact, many were getting healthier. Dr. So Young Choi had discovered something interesting in her medical bay. The Threnody, who looked like walking crystals, were actually growing brighter in human conditions. Their crystal bodies were absorbing energy from the ship's radiation and becoming stronger. The Velnari, with their feathered bodies and wing-like arms, found that human air pressure helped their breathing. Their homeworld had thin air, and years of running from the Dominion had made them weak. Human ship air was thick and rich with oxygen. The Kethmori, who looked like graceful water creatures with smooth blue skin, discovered that human water was perfect for their bodies. Their homeworld's water was different, and human H2O helped them stay healthy. "It is very strange," said Harmony Between Stones to Dr. Choi during a medical check. The Threnody's crystal body was glowing brighter than ever. "Your people live in conditions that should kill us, but instead, we grow strong." So Young smiled as she checked her instruments. "Human ships are built to work anywhere. We live in places other species can't even visit." "Why?" asked Swift Through Void. The Velnari was perched on a specially made chair in the medical bay. Her feathers had become more colorful since boarding the human ship. "Because Earth is a dangerous world," So Young explained. "We had to become strong to survive, so we build everything to be strong too." The aliens were learning about human Deathworld technology every day. Engineer Jiwoo Nam had given them tours of the ship's engine room. The aliens were shocked to see humans working near engines that produced deadly radiation. "How do you not die?" Current Writer had asked. The Kethmori's water blue skin was glowing with health in the human environment. G-Woo laughed and patted his radiation suit. "We wear protection, and human bodies are tough. We come from a world with deadly radiation, poisonous air, crushing gravity, and killer storms. This ship is actually safer than our homeworld." The aliens found this impossible to believe until translator Minho Kang showed them videos of Earth. They watched humans living through hurricanes, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions. They saw humans working in space, swimming in radioactive cooling pools, and living in places with no air. "Your people are insane," whispered Swift Through Void. "Maybe," Minho said with a grin, "but we're alive." The real test came when Dominion scouts found them. Intelligence Officer Sung Min Oh detected 3 small enemy ships following the Iron Mountain at long range. They were trying to stay hidden, but human sensors were very good. "They're watching us," Sung Min reported to Captain Do-hyun, "studying our ship, our weapons, our flight patterns." "Let them watch," Do-hyun said. "What are they learning?" "That we're not like other species, sir. Our ship operates in conditions that would kill their crews. We fly through radiation fields. They have to go around. We use weapons powered by our ship's reactor. Everything about us is wrong by their standards." Do-hyun smiled. "Good. Fear makes people make mistakes." But the aliens were still afraid. Shrill of Morning Wind, a Velnari diplomat, came to see Do-hyun in his ready room. She was an elegant creature with golden feathers and intelligent eyes. "Captain Kim," she said through Minho's translation device, "my people are grateful for your help. But we must talk about what comes next." "What do you mean?" Do-hyun asked. "The Dominion calls humans Deathworlders," Shrill of Morning Wind explained. "This is not a good thing in galactic society. Most species are afraid of Deathworlders," Minho translated carefully. "She's saying that most aliens think Deathworld species are dangerous. They think we're monsters." "Are we?" Do-hyun asked quietly. Shrill of Morning Wind tilted her feathered head. "We do not think so. But the Dominion uses fear of Deathworlders to control other species. They say Deathworlders will destroy civilization. They say Deathworlders are too violent to live with peaceful species." "And people believe this?" "Many do. The Dominion is very powerful. They have convinced the galaxy that Deathworlders must be controlled or destroyed before they can spread their violence." Do-hyun felt cold. "They want to destroy humanity?" "Yes. And by helping us, you have given them an excuse. They will say humans are corrupting peaceful species. They will say you are spreading Deathworlder contamination." Do-hyun stood up and walked to his window. Outside, space looked peaceful, but he knew Dominion scouts were out there watching. "What do you think?" he asked Shrill of Morning Wind. "Are humans dangerous?" The Velnari diplomat was quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke, and Minho translated. "She says she has watched your crew for 3 weeks. She says humans are the kindest Deathworlders she could imagine. You risk your lives to help strangers. You share your food, your medicine, your protection. You ask for nothing in return." Do-hyun smiled. "Then we'll prove the Dominion wrong." But proving the Dominion wrong would be harder than Do-hyun thought. The next day, a massive Dominion fleet appeared at the edge of the star system. Admiral Vex Thalan, commander of the Dominion 4th Fleet, sent a message to the Iron Mountain. "Human vessel, you are harboring criminals and spreading Deathworlder contamination. Surrender the refugees immediately and prepare to be destroyed. Deathworlders are not permitted to interfere with Dominion justice." Do-hyun responded personally. "This is Captain Do-hyun Kim of the human ship Iron Mountain. These people are not criminals. They are refugees seeking safety. I will not surrender them." "Then you will die," Vexathalan replied. "Your ship will be destroyed as an example to other Deathworlder species. The galaxy will see what happens to those who oppose the Dominion." The Dominion fleet was huge. Hundreds of warships surrounded the Iron Mountain. Each ship bristled with weapons and carried thousands of soldiers. But the aliens on the Iron Mountain were not afraid anymore. They had learned about human technology, human determination, and human stubbornness. "Captain," said Harmony between stones, "our 3 peoples would like to help you fight." Do-hyun looked at the crystal being. "You don't have weapons." "No, but we have knowledge. Threnodi understand energy patterns. Velnari understand flight and movement. Keth Mori understand flow and current. Together, we might help human weapons work better." Swift Through Void agreed. "We have watched your people work. You are strong and brave, but you are not efficient. We can show you ways to use less energy to do more damage." Current Rider added, "And we know Dominion ship weaknesses. We have run from them for many years. We know where they are vulnerable." Do-hyun felt hope rise in his chest. "You want to fight alongside us?" "We want to live," said Shrill of Morning Wind simply. "And living means fighting beside those who protect us." The battle preparations began. Human engineers worked with Threnodi, crystal specialists, to improve the ship's energy systems. Velnari pilots trained human fighter crews on advanced flight techniques. Kethamori navigators showed human helmsmen how to move through space more smoothly. As they worked together, something amazing happened. The aliens stopped being afraid of human, Deathworld conditions. Instead, they began to see how those conditions made humans incredibly strong. "Your people do not just survive in death," observed Harmony between stones. "Your people bring life to places where life should not exist." Jiwoo looked up from where he was working with a Threnodi engineer to improve the ship's shields. "What do you mean?" "Look around your ship," the crystal being explained. "You have gardens growing in artificial light. You have children playing in radiation that would kill most species. You have art and music and laughter in the cold of space. You do not just live in Deathworlds, you make Deathworlds into home." Swift Through Void, who was teaching human pilots advanced maneuvers, agreed. "Velnari avoid dangerous places. Threnodi build walls against danger. Keth Mori flow around danger. But humans dive into danger and make it safe for others." Current Rider was helping human navigators plot safer courses through dangerous space. "That is why Dominion fears you. Not because you bring death, but because you bring life where they thought life was impossible." As the Dominion fleet moved closer, the refugees and humans worked together more closely. They were no longer separate species helping each other. They were becoming something new. "Captain," said Taemin Lee, "the Dominion ships are moving into attack position." Do-hyun looked at his bridge crew. Humans and aliens worked side by side at every station. Heejin Park was coordinating communications with a Velnari translator. Sungmin Oh was analyzing enemy positions with a Threnodi pattern specialist. So young Choi was preparing medical bays with help from healers from all 3 refugee species. All hands prepare for battle, Do-hyun announced. Today we show the galaxy what happens when Deathworlders and peaceful species work together. Rai, Iron Mountain turned to face the Dominion fleet. Alone, the human ship would have been destroyed. The battle began at dawn, ship time. Admiral Vexthalan had brought 300 Dominion warships to destroy 1 human vessel. He was confident this would be quick and easy. He was wrong. The Iron Mountain moved like no ship the Dominion had ever seen. Instead of flying away from danger, it flew straight into the deadliest part of the enemy formation. Captain Do-hyun Kim had learned Keth Mori flow techniques, and his ship slipped between enemy vessels like water through fingers. Impossible, growled Admiral Vexthalan from his command ship. Deathworlder vessels cannot maneuver like that. They are too heavy, too crude. But the Iron Mountain was no longer just a human ship. Threnody crystal engineers had taught the humans how to make their energy systems more efficient. The ship's shields were stronger and used less power. The weapons hit harder and recharged faster. Nari pilots had joined human fighter crews. Swift through void flew a human fighter through an asteroid field that should have destroyed her small craft. But Velnari had evolved to fly through forests at high speed. Asteroids were just another kind of tree to avoid. How is she doing that? Asked Lieutenant Jae-sung Park, flying wingman to the alien pilot. His fighter struggled to keep up as swift through void wove between floating rocks. Velnari see flight paths that humans cannot, came her reply through the translator. Your ships are strong enough to hit rocks and survive. My people know how to not hit rocks at all. Together we are better than either alone. The Dominion. Fighters tried to follow them into the asteroid field. Most crashed into rocks within minutes. The few that survived found themselves facing human weapons guided by Velnari precision. On the main ship, the integration was working just as well. Harmony between stones worked with Chief Engineer Jiwoo Nam to coordinate the ship's power systems. The Threnody could feel energy patterns the way humans felt heat or cold. Dominion ships are charging weapons, Harmony between stones announced, his crystal body glowing brighter. I feel the energy building in their forward batteries. Where? Jiwoo asked. The crystal being pointed at the main screen. 3rd ship from left, 2nd ship from right, and the large vessel in the center. They will fire in 30 seconds. This gave the humans time to strengthen shields in exactly the right places. When the Dominion weapons fired, the Iron Mountain was ready. The enemy beams hit reinforced shield sections and scattered harmlessly. Current Rider worked with navigator Yoon-ji-yu to plot impossible courses through the battle. Keth Mori understood fluid dynamics better than any computer. She could predict how hundreds of ships would move and find the safest path through the chaos. Flow left, then spiral down. Current Rider suggested. Enemy ships will move to block, but their formation will create opening behind them. Yoon-ji input the course, and the Iron Mountain flowed through the enemy fleet like a fish through a net. The Dominion ships fired at where the human ship had been, hitting each other instead. But the real surprise came when the refugee ships joined the battle. Do-hyun had expected them to run and hide. Instead, the repaired alien vessels formed up, alongside the Iron Mountain. What are they doing? Demanded Admiral Vexthalan. Those are civilian ships. They have no weapons. The refugees had spent 3 weeks learning from humans. They had watched human engineers work. They had learned human determination. And they had discovered that survival sometimes meant fighting. The Threnody crystal ships became living shields. Their crystal hulls absorbed energy weapons and redirected the power to strengthen the formation. Dominion lasers that should have destroyed ships instead made the crystal vessels glow brighter and stronger. The Velnari feather ships used their speed and agility to confuse enemy targeting. They flew in complex patterns around the larger vessels, making it impossible for Dominion gunners to get clear shots. When enemy missiles were fired, the Velnari ships led them into asteroid fields or into each other. The Keth Mori bubble ships did something completely unexpected. They used their knowledge of pressure and flow to create gravitational distortions. Enemy ships found themselves pulled off course, their formations broken, their weapons firing wild. This is impossible, Admiral Vexthalan said again. Refugee species do not fight. They run and hide. These refugees have been living with Deathworlders, his tactical officer reported nervously. They have learned Deathworlder methods. The battle that should have lasted minutes stretched into hours. The Dominion fleet, designed to crush weak prey, found itself fighting an enemy that grew stronger under pressure. Shrill dash of dash morning dash wind coordinated the refugee ships from the Iron Mountains Bridge. The elegant Velnari diplomat had become a warrior, directing her people's ships like a conductor directing music. Feather ships, spiral pattern around crystal ships, she commanded. Bubble ships, create pressure wave to push enemy left formation into asteroid field. The alien vessels moved with perfect coordination. They had learned from humans that survival meant working together, and they had taught humans that cooperation could make impossible things possible. Dr. So Young Choi worked frantically in the medical bay, treating wounded from all 4 species. She had learned basic alien medicine from refugee healers, and they had learned human trauma techniques from her. Doctor, we have Threnody crystal fractures on Deck 7, reported Nurse Young Ho. Kim. Send them to Medical Bay 3, So Young replied. The Threnody healers there can sing their crystals back together and get human medical team to Deck 12. The Kethmori there need help with pressure injuries. The medical cooperation was saving lives that would have been lost in normal circumstances. Human emergency medicine combined with alien healing knowledge meant everyone had a better chance of survival. As the battle continued, Admiral Vexthalon grew desperate. His massive fleet was being embarrassed by 1 human ship and a handful of refugee vessels. The other Dominion commanders were starting to question his leadership. All ships focus fire on the human vessel, he ordered. Ignore the refugees. Destroy the Deathworlder ship and the others will surrender. 300 Dominion warships turned their weapons on the Iron Mountain. The amount of firepower was enough to destroy a small moon dot, but the refugee ships moved to protect their human allies. Threnody crystal ships absorbed the energy. Velnari feather ships disrupted targeting. Kethmori bubble ships created gravitational shields. They're protecting the humans, whispered the Dominion tactical officer. Impossible. Prey species. Do not protect predators. Sir, I don't think the humans are predators. Look at the formation. The human ship is protecting the refugees just as much as they're protecting it. Admiral Vexthalon studied the battle display. The human ship was not acting like a typical Deathworlder vessel. Instead of attacking aggressively, it was positioned to shield the weaker refugee ships. Instead of fighting alone, it coordinated with alien allies. What kind of Deathworlders are these? He muttered. The answer came from an unexpected source. One of his own communication officers, a member of a peaceful species conquered by the Dominion long ago, spoke quietly. Sir, I don't think they are Deathworlders at all. I think they are gardeners. What? They take things that are dying and make them live. They take dangerous places and make them safe. They take broken people and make them whole. That's not a Deathworlder trait. That's something else. The battle was turning against the Dominion. Their ships were designed to fight enemies who would break under pressure, but the combined human-alien force grew stronger when pressed. Every attack made them work together more closely. Captain Do Hyun made a decision. Open communication to the Dominion fleet. Captain, they won't listen, said Tae-Min Lee. Maybe not. But the galaxy is watching this battle. Our long-range communications are broadcasting everything. If the Dominion wants to show the galaxy how they deal with Deathworlders, let's show the galaxy what Deathworlders really are. The communication channel opened. Do Hyun's voice reached every ship in both fleets and through quantum relays, every inhabited world and nearby systems. Admiral Vexthalon, this is Captain Do Hyun Kim. You came here to destroy us because you said we were dangerous. You said Deathworlders would corrupt peaceful species. You said we would bring chaos and destruction. You are Deathworlders, Vexthalon replied. You spread contamination wherever you go. Look at your sensors, Do Hyun said calmly. Look at the refugee ships. Are they corrupted? Are they chaotic? Are they destructive? The Dominion Admiral looked at his displays. The alien refugee ships were moving in perfect formation, protecting each other, working together with an efficiency his own fleet could not match. The Threnody crystals are brighter than they've been in decades. The Velnari are flying better than they ever have. The Kethmori are healthier and stronger. We didn't corrupt them, Admiral. We helped them heal. Du Hyun's voice reached across space to every listening world. You say Deathworlders bring death, but look around you. We brought broken people back to life. We brought dying ships back to strength. We brought scattered refugees back together. The battle was still raging, but now it had a different meaning. This wasn't just about one human ship and some refugees. This was about two different ways of thinking about the galaxy. You want to know what makes humans dangerous? Du Hyun continued. It's not that we survive in deadly places. The Iron Mountain and the refugee fleet retreated toward human space, but it was not a panicked flight. Captain Do-hyun Kim had learned from the Kethmori that sometimes the best way forward was to flow around obstacles, not through them. The Dominion fleet followed, but they were no longer confident. Admiral Vexthalin had lost 30 ships in the battle, while the humans and refugees had lost none. His superiors were asking uncomfortable questions. Titan's Gate is 3 days ahead, reported navigator Yoon Ji-yu. She was working with current writer to plot the safest course through human defensive space. It's our strongest fortress world. Do-hyun nodded. Titan's Gate was built inside an artificial moon, orbiting a neutron star. The radiation levels would kill most alien species within hours. It was the perfect Deathworld fortress. But the refugees were no longer afraid of human Deathworlds. 3 weeks of living on human ships had changed them. Captain, said Harmony between stones, may we see this fortress world of yours? You might not survive it, Do-hyun warned. Even our ship's protection might not be enough. The crystal being's body pulsed with light. We have been thinking about this. Threnody crystals absorb energy. Neutron star radiation is just very strong energy. Perhaps we will not just survive. Perhaps we will thrive. Swift Through Void agreed. Velnari evolved in high radiation environments. Our homeworld has 3 suns. Human Deathworld radiation feels familiar to us. Current writer added, and Kethmori understand that pressure and flow exist everywhere. Even in the most dangerous places, there are safe currents to follow. When they arrived at Titan's Gate, the refugees saw something that amazed them. The human fortress was not a cold, empty military base. It was a living city. Human families lived in the artificial moon. Children played in parks built inside radiation shields. Gardens grew under artificial suns. Artists painted murals on walls that could withstand neutron star bombardment. Impossible, whispered Echo of Ancient Songs, a Velnari anthropologist who studied different cultures. No species builds homes in places this deadly. But humans had done exactly that. Titan's Gate was home to 2 million people. They lived normal lives in one of the most dangerous environments in the galaxy. Dr. So-young Choi gave the refugees a tour of the civilian areas. They watched human children learning to walk in artificial gravity 3 times stronger than Earth. Normal. They saw elderly humans tending gardens that grew in soil mixed with radioactive minerals. How do they not die? Asked a young Threnody named Glow of Deep Crystal. They do die, So-young explained gently. Everyone dies eventually. But they live first. They love, they laugh, they make art, they raise families. Death doesn't scare them from living. This was a concept the refugees had never considered. Their species avoided dangerous places. When they had to enter such places, they hurried through as quickly as possible. But humans built homes in dangerous places. They made dangerous places safe for their children. They turned death worlds into gardens. It is not that you survive death, observed Echo of Ancient Songs. It is that you create life in the presence of death. The refugees began to understand why the Dominion feared humans so much. It was not because humans were violent or destructive. It was because humans proved that the impossible was actually possible. Communications specialist Jun-Soo Park had been monitoring galactic news feeds. What he discovered surprised everyone. Captain, the galaxy is talking about our battle, he reported. The broadcast you made to Admiral Vexathalan reached over 1,000 worlds. What are they saying? Do-hyun asked. Mixed reactions, sir. Some species are scared. They think humans are even more dangerous than the Dominion claimed, but others are asking questions. Junsu pulled up a newsfeed from the Galactic Council. A representative of the peaceful Xantheran species was speaking. If these humans are truly Deathworlders, why did they risk their lives to save refugees? If they are monsters, why do the refugees fight alongside them instead of trying to escape? Another representative, from the cautious Mordaki, added, We have been told that Deathworlder contamination spreads violence and chaos, but the footage from the battle shows perfect cooperation between species. The refugee ships moved with more coordination than our own fleets achieve. Do-hyun felt hope. The galaxy is starting to question Dominion propaganda. But the Dominion was not sitting quietly. Admiral Byung-ho Lee, commander of the Terran Defense Force, contacted the Iron Mountain with disturbing news. Captain Kim, the Dominion has declared you and your refugee allies to be a contamination vector. They're demanding that the Galactic Council authorize a cleansing operation. What does that mean? Do-hyun asked. It means they want permission to destroy every human world that has contact with the refugees. They're claiming that Deathworlder alien cooperation is a plague that will spread across the galaxy. The weight of this news settled on everyone aboard the Iron Mountain. By saving the refugees, Do-hyun had potentially doomed billions of humans. But Shrill of Morning Wind had different ideas. The Velnari diplomat approached Do-hyun with a proposal. Captain, my people have been studying your galactic laws. We believe the Dominion is breaking several council regulations. How so? The refugees have the right to request sanctuary from any council species. The Dominion prevented us from making this request by hunting us through neutral space. This is illegal. Min-ho Kang, the translator, added, Also, the Dominion attacked your ship in neutral space without provocation. That's an act of war against humanity. Do-hyun realized what they were suggesting. You want to take this to the Galactic Council? Yes, but not just as refugees seeking help, as evidence that the Dominion has been lying about Deathworlders. The plan was risky. The Galactic Council met on Harmony Station, a neutral space station in the center of the galaxy. Getting there would mean traveling through Dominion space with a ship full of contaminated refugees. But the refugees were no longer the broken, frightened people Do-hyun had rescued. Living with humans had made them stronger, braver, and more determined. We will go, declared Harmony Between Stones. We will show the galaxy what humans really are. Swift Through Void agreed. Velnari are tired of running. It is time to stand and speak truth. Current writer added, Keth Mori understand that sometimes the only way through dangerous current is to dive deeper into it. As they prepared to leave Titan's Gate, something unexpected happened. Human civilians wanted to come with them. Captain, said Colony Administrator Kyung-soo Jung, my daughter is married to one of the Threnody refugees. My grandchildren are half human, half crystal. The Dominion says this kind of family shouldn't exist. I want to show the galaxy that it can. Families throughout Titan's Gate made the same choice. Humans who had married refugees, humans who had adopted alien children, humans who had simply become friends with the newcomers all volunteered to join the journey. Within days, the Iron Mountain was accompanied by a dozen civilian transport ships. The fleet carried not just refugees and soldiers, but families. Living proof that humans and aliens could build lives together. Dr. So-young Choi worked with refugee healers to document their research. They had made incredible medical discoveries by combining human and alien knowledge. Diseases that killed humans could be cured with Threnody crystal healing. Injuries that crippled aliens could be treated with human surgical techniques. Engineer Ji-woo Nam collaborated with alien specialists to improve ship designs. Human engineering combined with Threnody energy manipulation, Velnari aerodynamics, and Keth Mori flow dynamics created ships that were more efficient than anyone had thought possible. Most importantly, the children aboard the ships were proof that cooperation worked. Human children played with alien children, They learned each other's languages, shared each other's games, and protected each other from danger. "Look at them," said Echo of Ancient Songs, watching a mixed group of children playing in the ship's recreation area. Human children are teaching crystal children to be brave. Crystal children are teaching human children to be peaceful. Feather children are teaching all of them to see beauty in everything. This was what the Dominion really feared. Not human weapons or human violence, but human acceptance. Humans didn't just tolerate differences, they celebrated them. They made them stronger. As the fleet prepared to jump to hyperspace toward Harmony Station, Captain Do-hyun received one final message from Admiral Byung-ho Lee. "Captain, the Dominion has mobilized their entire 3rd and 4th fleets. Over 1,000 ships are moving to intercept you before you reach the Council." Do-hyun looked around his bridge. Humans and aliens worked side by side at every station. In the civilian ships, mixed families waited nervously but hopefully. "Admiral, we're not just carrying refugees anymore. We're carrying the future, a future where different species can live and work together, where Deathworlders create gardens instead of graveyards." "I know, Captain. That's why the entire Terran Defense Force is moving to support you. Every human ship that can fly is coming to make sure you reach Harmony Station." Do-hyun felt tears in his eyes. Humanity was going to war not for conquest or revenge, but to protect the right of different species to live together in peace. The final battle was coming. But this time, it wouldn't be just about one ship and some refugees. The space around Harmony Station looked like a graveyard of ships. Over 1,500 vessels from dozens of species floated in careful formations, all waiting for the Galactic Council to make its decision about humanity and the refugees. The Dominion had brought their 3rd and 4th fleets, commanded by Supreme Admiral Keth Valorian himself. His 1,000 warships bristled with weapons designed to sterilize entire worlds. Humanity had responded with everything they had. Admiral Byung-ho Lee commanded 800 human vessels from massive dreadnoughts to small patrol ships. Every ship that could fly had come to protect the refugees. But the most surprising sight was the growing fleet of neutral species ships. Representatives from over 50 worlds had come to witness what everyone knew would be a historic moment. Captain Do-hyun Kim stood on the bridge of the Iron Mountain, looking at the massive display of ships surrounding them. In 3 weeks, this had grown from a simple rescue mission to a galaxy-changing event. "Captain," said Communications Officer Hee-jin, "Park and the Galactic Council is ready to hear our testimony." Do-hyun nodded. It was time to tell the galaxy the truth about Deathworlders. The council chamber aboard Harmony Station was huge, designed to hold representatives from hundreds of species. As Do-hyun and the refugee leaders entered, they saw beings of every shape and size imaginable. Most looked afraid. The Dominion had spent centuries convincing the galaxy that Deathworlders were monsters. Many of these representatives had never seen a human before. Supreme Counselor Velthara, an ancient being from a species so old they had forgotten their original name, called the session to order. "We are here to decide the fate of the humans and their refugee allies," she announced. "The Dominion claims these beings represent a contamination that threatens galactic civilization. The humans claim they are simply protecting those in need." Supreme Admiral Keth Valorian stepped forward. He was a massive creature, bred for war, with natural armor and weapons that could cut through metal. Everything about him was designed to intimidate. "Honored counselors," he began, "the evidence is clear. The humans have corrupted 3 peaceful species. They have turned refugees into warriors. They have spread Deathworlder contamination across multiple star systems." He activated a hologram showing the battle between the Iron Mountain and the Dominion fleet. "Look at how they fight. No peaceful species should move with such precision, such violence, such coordination. This is Deathworlder contamination in action." Murmurs of fear rippled through the council chamber. The footage did look frightening to species that had lived in peace for centuries. But then, Captain Do-hyun stood to respond. "Honored counselors, may I show you what the Admiral calls contamination?" Do-hyun activated his own hologram. Instead of battle footage, it showed the refugee ships as they had been found, broken, dying, filled with sick and frightened people. This is what the Dominion calls justice, he said quietly. 50,000 people, including children, dying in the cold of space because they refused to become slaves. The hologram changed to show the refugees aboard human ships. Threnody, crystals glowing with health. Velnari children learning to fly in human fighter simulators. Kethmori families swimming in human water recycling systems. The Admiral is right about one thing. These people did change after living with humans. They became stronger, healthier, and more hopeful. If that's contamination, then I'm proud to be contaminated. But the real testimony came from the refugees themselves. Harmony-between-stone stepped forward. The Threnody's crystal body was so bright it filled the chamber with gentle light. Honored counselors, I was dying when the humans found me. My crystal matrix was cracking from stress and fear. Human radiation that should have killed me instead made me whole again. The crystal being's voice was beautiful, like music made of starlight. The Dominion says humans corrupted me, but I ask you, look at me now and look at recordings of me 3 weeks ago. Which version looks corrupted? The hologram showed harmony between stones, as he had been, dim, cracked, barely alive. The contrast with his current radiant health was impossible to ignore. Swift-through-void spoke next. I am Velnari. We are taught from hatching that we are weak, that we must hide from strong predators. The Dominion told us humans were the most dangerous predators of all. She spread her feathered arms wide. But humans did not hunt us. They protected us. They did not enslave us. They taught us to be strong. For the first time in my life, I am not afraid. Current writer's testimony was the most powerful. The graceful Kethmori spoke in her flowing, water-like voice. The Dominion hunted my people for our biochemistry. They used our bodies to make medicine for their soldiers. They told us this was our purpose, to die so others could live. She gestured to the human delegation. But humans showed us a different way. They said our purpose was to live, to grow, to build something beautiful with our lives. They said no one should die to make others stronger. The council chamber was completely silent. Many representatives were seeing refugees not as victims or threats, but as people with stories, families, and dreams. Supreme Admiral Keth Valorian tried to regain control. These touching stories do not change the facts. Deathworlders are dangerous. They spread chaos wherever they go. The humans must be contained before they contaminate more species. But then something unexpected happened. Ambassador Shelmiran of the Xantheran people stood up. Admiral, my species has been studying the human refugee integration for 3 weeks. We have been monitoring their communications, analyzing their behavior, and documenting their social structures. The Xantheran activated a holographic display. What we found contradicts everything we have been told about Deathworlders. The display showed detailed analysis of the mixed human-alien communities that had formed. Crime rates were lower than in pure species settlements. Innovation and creativity were higher. Mental health indicators showed improvement across all species involved. The humans are not spreading contamination, Ambassador Shelmiran concluded. They are spreading cooperation. Other species representatives began to speak up. The Mordaki had observed improved trade relationships in systems with human presence. The Quillen had noted that human-protected trade routes were safer and more efficient. Supreme Counselor Velthara called for order. The evidence is complex, but we must make a decision. The Dominion demands the right to cleanse what they call contamination. The humans demand the right to protect refugees. That's when the youngest voice in the chamber spoke up. Whisper of Stars, a Velnari child who had been born in the refugee fleet, stepped forward. Honored counselors, she said in perfect galactic standard, a language she had learned from human children. I do not understand why adults make things so complicated. The entire council chamber focused on the small, feathered child. My crystal brother, Bright Hope, and my water sister Flow of Joy and I have been playing together every day. We are not contaminated. We are friends. Is friendship contamination? Is kindness dangerous? Is helping others wrong? She looked directly at Supreme Admiral Keth Valorian. The Admiral says humans are dangerous, but the only person in this room who has talked about killing people is him. The simplicity and truth of a child's words cut through all the political complexity. Here was a living example of what cooperation could create. A generation that saw differences as interesting rather than threatening. Supreme Counselor Velthara made her decision. The Galactic Council recognizes the Human Refugee Alliance as a legitimate political entity. The refugees are granted full sanctuary rights. The humans are acknowledged as protectors rather than conquerors. Supreme Admiral Keth Valorian's face twisted with rage. This decision will destroy galactic civilization. Mark my words. Deathworlder contamination will spread to every world, and chaos will follow. But Captain Do-hyun had the final word. Admiral, you're right that change will spread, but it won't be contamination. It will be something the galaxy has never seen before. True cooperation between different species. He gestured to the mixed delegation behind him. We're not here to conquer or control. We're here to build gardens in places where others see only wasteland. The decision sparked the greatest change in galactic history. Within months, other species began requesting human assistance with impossible projects. Human engineers helped the crystal Threnody build cities inside stars. Human farmers worked with the aquatic Kethmori to create underwater colonies. Human pilots trained with the bird-like Velnari to explore dangerous nebulae. The Dominion Empire, faced with the loss of their slave labor and the challenge of species who were no longer afraid, began to collapse. Some Dominion worlds chose to join the growing alliance. Others tried to resist but found their own people questioning the old ways. Admiral Byung-ho Lee was promoted to command the new Terran Ethereal Defense Force, a mixed-species military focused on protecting refugees and exploring dangerous regions of space. Captain Do-hyun Kim became the first human ambassador to the expanded Galactic Council, representing not just humanity but the principle that different species could build something better together. The refugees were no longer refugees. They became citizens of a new kind of civilization that valued diversity, cooperation, and the courage to live in impossible places.